She did not pray harder that night. She did not read another book. She did not make another list. She did not force herself to believe something she was not sure she believed. She did one thing, one small, quiet, almost invisible thing. And by morning, something had shifted. Not loudly, not with fireworks, but shifted in the way that real change always begins, from the inside, in the dark, before anyone else could see it. Tonight I am going to tell you exactly what she did. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story, and I open to receive the life that is already moving toward me. It arrives within 3 days by divine law. Hold that sentence. We will return to it many times tonight. But first, come sit with me for a moment, in the real moment. The one you do not post about. I am talking about the moment right before you reach for your phone at night. The half second when the room is still and the day has finally gone quiet, and before the scrolling starts there is a flash, just a flash, of something that feels like grief. Not dramatic grief, quiet grief, the kind you cannot explain to anyone because it is not about any one thing. It is about time, about the distance between who you thought you would be by now and who you see in the mirror at 52 or 57 or 61. How many nights have you pulled the covers up and thought, tomorrow I will start. Tomorrow it will be different. And then tomorrow came exactly the same as today. Not because you are weak, not because you are cursed, but because no one ever showed you that the night itself was a doorway. And you have been walking past it every single evening of your life. You have been sleeping through your own miracle window. That is not a judgment. That is an invitation. Because the woman I want to tell you about tonight, she was sleeping through hers too, for 11 years. Her name was Margaret. She was 58 years old, and she lived in a small flat in Birmingham, England. 3rd floor, one window that looked out onto a car park. She had spent 11 years in that flat after her second marriage ended in a way that left her not angry, she was past angry, but quiet. The kind of quiet that settles into a person when they have stopped expecting. When hope has not died exactly, but when it has gone underground so deep you are not sure it is still there. Margaret had done everything right by anyone's measure. She had raised her children. She had worked. She had forgiven. Or at least she had said the word forgiveness out loud enough times to stop carrying it on her face. She went to church. She listened to sermons. She read the books. She had a journal with more unfinished entries than she could count. Every entry started with intention. Most of them ended with exhaustion. She was not depressed. She was something harder to name. She was a woman who had become fluent in endurance and who had forgotten entirely what it felt like to expect something good. If you have ever felt like the people around you were somehow enrolled in a life you could see but not enter, like there was a door everyone else walked through that simply did not have your name on it, write this in the comments right now. I am still here. I have not stopped. Type the full sentence. Let the act of typing it be the first sound you make from the deep place. Because what happened to Margaret did not begin with a grand gesture. It began with one question she had never honestly asked herself. She was watching a video, not unlike this one, and the woman speaking said something that stopped Margaret's breath for a full 3 seconds. She said, "What if the life you are waiting for is not waiting on God? What if it is waiting on you to change what you rehearse before you sleep?" Margaret said she had to pause the video. She sat in her quiet flat, in the yellow lamplight, and she felt something she had not felt in years. Not hope, exactly. Recognition. Because she knew what she rehearsed before sleep. She had been doing it so long it had become invisible. Every night, in the space between waking and sleeping, she ran the inventory. The regrets, the things that had not worked, the birthday cards she had received that were kind, but that reminded her of everyone who had not sent one. The phone calls she had not made, the choices she was still carrying. She ran the whole account, every single night, like a ledger she could not stop auditing. And she had never once stopped to ask what that nightly rehearsal was doing to everything that came after it. This is what neuroscience calls the hypnagogic state. the exact window between wakefulness and sleep. Your conscious mind has begun to release its grip. Your body is surrendering, but your subconscious is wide open. It is not filtering. It is not skeptical. It is not judging. It is receiving directly whatever you are feeding it in that liminal space. Joseph Murphy understood this in the 1950s. He called it the bridge of sleep. He wrote that the suggestions you give to yourself in the moments before sleep go directly into the subconscious mind and are received as instructions, not suggestions, instructions. Margaret had been giving her subconscious the same instruction for 11 years, and her subconscious, faithfully, had been building a reality to match it. She is not the exception, she is the pattern, and you may be living it too. This is what I want to name for you tonight, this specific pattern. I want to give it a name so you can see it from the outside. Sleep rehearsal gravity. It is the weight of what you return to every night in the dark. The story you replay, the wound you revisit, the distance you measure between where you are and where you wish you were. You do not do it deliberately. You do it the way you breathe, automatically, invisibly, continuously. And every night that story sinks deeper, not into your mind, into the architecture of your days, into what you expect, into what you accept, into the invisible ceiling you bump against every time something good begins to arrive. You are not broken. You have not been forgotten. You have been operating under sleep rehearsal gravity your entire adult life, and no one ever showed you how to change it. Until tonight. If something just landed in you as I said that, not like an idea but like a key turning, tap-like, it tells me you are still in this. It tells me the frequency is reaching you. Margaret changed one thing. She did not change her prayers. She did not change her morning routine. She did not buy a new journal or set new intentions. She changed what she rehearsed in the last 7 minutes before sleep. She had written down a sentence, a specific sentence, not an affirmation, not a wish, a declaration, something that sounded not like wanting but like receiving. And every night, in that exact window before sleep took her, she said it slowly, from her chest, not her head. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story and I open to receive the life that is already moving toward me. It arrives within 3 days by divine law. She said it out loud the first night, quietly, into the empty room. She felt a little foolish. She said it anyway. She let the words move through the air of that flat on the 3rd floor, looking out onto the car park. She let the words exist in physical space, where before there had only been silence. Say it with me right now, out loud, in this room. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story and I open to receive the life that is already moving toward me. It arrives within 3 days by divine law. Say it slowly. Let it land. Now let me tell you why it works, not as mystery, as law. The first law is the law of the threshold moment. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." The heart in ancient Hebrew thought was not the seat of emotion. It was the seat of the inner life, the deep interior from which all outward reality is formed. What you guard in the threshold, the doorway between one day and the next, is what you are releasing into the ground of the coming day. The night is not rest only. The night is formation. The second law is the law of subconscious reception. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined and emotionally believed. Carl Jung called this the autonomous psyche, the part of you that operates without your consent, below the level of intention. What it receives in the hypnagogic state becomes its instruction set. Margaret was giving it grief. She began giving it openness, and it could not tell the difference between the two except to execute what it received. The third law is the law of moving waters. Isaiah 43:19 says this, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" The new thing is already springing. The movement is already underway. The shift does not begin when you see the evidence. It begins the moment you change the signal. And the most powerful signal you can change is the one you send in the last moments before sleep, when your subconscious is leaning forward, fully open, ready to receive whatever you give it. For Margaret, the change was not visible for 2 days. She went about her ordinary life, went to her job, made her tea, looked out the window at the car park. But on the third morning she woke and something was different. Not in the room, in her. A lightness she could not explain. An absence of the heaviness that she had accepted so completely she had stopped noticing it was there until the morning it was gone. That same day her daughter called. Not to ask for something, just to talk, the way they used to talk before years of small distances accumulated into quiet. They spoke for 40 minutes. It was not dramatic, but Margaret said afterward that she sat with her phone in her lap after the call ended, and she cried. Not from sadness, from recognition, from the feeling of a door that had been cracked open by 1 degree. Within 7 days, a letter arrived from an organization she had applied to join 2 years earlier and had heard nothing from. They were sorry for the delay, the letter said. They wanted to welcome her. The position she had applied for, working with women in recovery, was hers if she still wanted it. She still wanted it. She had never stopped wanting it. She had just stopped expecting it. The life that is already moving toward you does not require you to become someone different. It requires you to stop blocking it with the story you rehearse every night before your eyes close. If this feels true in you tonight, write this in the comments and let your own words witness you. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story, and I open to receive what is already moving toward me within 3 days. Type the full sentence. Your words in that comment section are not just text. They are your own voice, witnessed, declared, sent out into the world. Do not shorten them. Write them in full. Now here is what tonight looks like. Not as instruction, as experience. When this video ends, you will carry something with you into the night, a sentence, a frequency. And when the room goes quiet and the day falls away from you, before you reach for the scroll, before the old inventory begins, you will do something different. You will place one hand on your chest. You will feel your own heartbeat for 3 steady breaths. And then in the soft space where your thoughts are beginning to slow, you will allow yourself to imagine, not force, not strive, just gently allow, the version of your life where what has been moving toward you has arrived. You do not need to know its shape. You do not need to visualize the details perfectly. You only need to feel, in your body, the quality of a morning when the weight is lighter, the quality of a day when something is different. The feeling, not the picture, the feeling of a life that has opened. Let that feeling be what sleep receives. Let that be the instruction you give the deep part of you tonight. And in the morning when you wake, before the mind reassembles all its reasons for caution, speak it again. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story and I open to receive the life that is already moving toward me. It arrives within 3 days by divine law. Speak it the moment your eyes open. Speak it before the day has a chance to tell you who you are. Speak it 4 times each day for the next 7 nights. Once upon waking, once at midday, once before the sun falls, and once right there at the threshold. Right there in the last soft moments before sleep carries you under. 7 nights, 4 times each day. This is the covenant, not because God needs a ritual, but because your nervous system needs a new rehearsal. And 7 days of a new rehearsal before sleep is enough to begin to dissolve what 11 years of the old one built. Margaret did not get her whole life back in a week, but she got the first door open. And she told me later, she said the strangest part was not what happened on the outside. The strangest part was waking up on the 4th morning and realizing she had not run the old inventory the night before. She had simply forgotten to, because the new thing had taken up the space. That is how it happens. Not with great drama, with great gentleness. The new rehearsal quietly, slowly, steadily crowds out the old one. and the life that has been moving toward you, patiently, faithfully, undeterred by your doubt, finds the door finally open and walks through it. Right now in this room where you are sitting, the threshold is real. The window is not a metaphor. Tonight is a specific night. You are a specific person. And the 3 days that begin with tonight are not a nice idea. They are a real container in which real things can shift. The tiredness you carry, the particular flavor of spiritual exhaustion that comes from wanting without receiving, from trying without arriving, from praying without feeling heard. That exhaustion is not evidence that nothing is coming. It is evidence that you have been standing in front of the door instead of walking through it. The door is the night. The key is what you rehearse before you sleep. And tonight, you have the key. Before sleep carries everything deeper, I release the old story and I open to receive the life that is already moving toward me. It arrives within 3 days by divine law. Joseph Murphy wrote, "The treasure house is within you. Look within for the answer to your heart's desire." The treasure house, not the prayer house, not the striving house. The treasure house within you, already full, already complete, already containing everything you have asked for, waiting only for your subconscious to stop being given instructions that contradict its delivery. Tonight, you give it different instructions. Tonight, the rehearsal changes. Tonight, the old inventory ends. Margaret is not a miracle. She is a woman who changed one small thing in the dark, and the dark, faithfully, changed everything else. You are that woman tonight. You are that person. Right now, in this moment, in this room. The 3 days begin now. The threshold is open. Walk through it. If this felt like it was written for you, because in a deeper way, it was, welcome home to Healing Love Space.